And good morning / afternoon and welcome to Yarn Lane. I'm really excited for this show because I have loved Rowan yarn. I've loved Kaffe Fasset for such a long time and we've brought you so many different things, and I've been working with Rowan to hopefully bring you Kaffe Fasset designs and patterns and yarn. Very excited. So first of all, we'll just get the shopping stuff out of the way. If you're new to Yarn Lane, the best way to shop with us is on the website. So you just need to go to www.yarnlane.com. Click on Watch Live. This is what it will look like. And then scroll down and everything from the show is listed there. All you have to do is click Add to Basket. Now, because I'm not sure, this is the first time we've done Rowan before, we are limited in stock. You can buy kits for the 4 items we've got today, and which includes the yarn and the pattern book, which is the pattern for the item that you're buying plus many other patterns. There are also the pattern books on their own. So because this is something new, there is limited stock, because I just thought, I don't know, I love it, but I hope you love it as much as I do. So, we try and get it right, talk to lots of different people. So there is limited stock. So if you want it, you need to click on Add to Basket, and then you need to check out. It's not yours until you've checked out. Now remember, there's only one P&P a day, which is £3.95, but it also counts for Sewing Street. So if you've shopped before earlier in the day on Sewing Street, your P&P is already done and dusted. So it's only one P&P. It doesn't matter how many things you buy. Now, the great thing about the kits today is that they are all on split pay. How exciting is that? How exciting. Different, and we'll talk through them as we go through each one, but each one, so when you see them, you don't have to pay it all up front, because obviously we know that Rowan and Kaffe are real high luxury products. Beautiful quality and beautiful designs. So there is all on split pay. We have 4 different kits for you today. We've got a blanket. There it is there, the Paint Daubs blanket, which is beautiful. I mean, it actually looks woven, doesn't it? But it isn't. It is knitted from the most beautiful colours and wool, which I will talk to you in a minute. I just want to go through the kits. Then we've got a scarf, which is the sampler scarf, which is a most amazing scarf. It's double-sided, so it's knitted and then sewed together, so you don't see the back of it. It is fantastic. It's an absolute work of art. It features rows of colours and houses and flowers, and it's just quintessentially Kaffe, that is. We've got a cardigan, which I've been wearing all day. It's called the Halo Spots cardigan. It's beautiful, isn't it? It looks like paint pots. So it's got this lovely pale blue, sort of bluey greeny background with then these big fun circles. It's beautiful, and I've been wearing it all. It's really warm and lovely. And then we've got a cushion. That's lovely. That's really nice. I love the sort of the black and white mixed with all the really, really bright colours. So we've got a little bit. I wanted to try it out today to see what you thought about it and how you felt about it. So I'm going to start off with the blanket, because it's got more wool in it than anything else. So let's first of all, I'm going to talk to you a bit about the wool. The wool is for Rowan. Now, Kaffe has been designing for Rowan for over 30 years. And in fact, Rowan bring out a pattern book every 6 months, and Kaffe has had a design in every single one of them. So a lot of you may think of Kaffe as being a fabric designer, but he's not. He started off, as a fashion designer, but knitting was his first thing. That's how he started off. He moved on later then into needlepoint was the next thing. Then he moved into fabric, but knitting was his great love. And he has been working with Rowan since the beginning, designing designs for them. So he goes right back to, knitwear design in the 70s. But it is still beautiful today. So the yarn that all of these patterns in is felted tweed. Now, it's a mixture of 50% merino wool, so that's beautifully soft, isn't it? 25% alpaca, and that's even soft, and that's lovely. But then it's got 25% viscose, which gives it its washability and gives it a little bit more strength. But it is beautiful. It's called felted tweed. When you look at it, it's every single ball of yarn is multicolour. So they've all got these little flecks, like a tweed fabric would, flecks and flecks of colour in it. So just come in and look at this. Is the green one. I love, they've all got fantastic names, all of these colours as well. So this one is called, where's the name of it? They probably covered it up with a sticker. They've got names like Vaseline and Mineral. And just oddest, there's one that's called Barbara. There is one called Barbara. Yes, there are all sorts of names. So to make this beautiful blanket, which has got the background of this lovely teal green, I can't even remember what colour it is. I can't remember what the background is. I'll have a look. What's the background called? Oh, fjord. Yes, the background is fjord, because it is Norwegian fjord colour, but probably in the summer, isn't it? Probably not in the winter. So that beautiful sort of turquoisey, jadey green. That's all the background, so you've got a lot of that. 12 balls of that, absolutely loads. Then you've got all the balls of the other colours, and it is like a brush of paint. Yeah, French mustard, frozen, candy floss, that must be that one, sulphur, lime, mineral, Vaseline, electric green and iris, beautiful colours. But each of the squares actually looks like a paint stroke with a paint, because it's got little lines above. So what's lovely about this blanket, it's a big blanket, but it's not boring to knit, because you've got all of these spots of colours in it. Now, also, you get the book. Now, in the book is the pattern, but it's not just that. I'm going to show you the book, because the books are also available separately. And then we've kind of done the two things at the same time. So you can buy the book on its own if you want it on its own. But in this bundle, so with all the yarn that you need to make this beautiful blanket, all in this, it's the most lovely, because it's a felted wool as well. We'll talk to Carol about that in a minute, about the construction of it and what it's like to knit with. But it does knit beautifully, and it does stick together well. So it's really suited to Fair Isle and Intarsia. So in the book, you have got all of these patterns. By the pattern book, there's a mixture between the homeware is by Kaffe, and then there are also garments, and they're by Lisa Richardson, who's a real classic Rowan designer. So there's the black and white cushion, there's the blanket. The black and white cushion is in here as well. We've got a beautiful wrap. We've got 2 sweaters. Look, I love that cushion. It was really, really difficult choosing which of the designs to create kits for you. I thought, well, I'm going to have a garment, a blanket, a cushion. It was really, really difficult. I love that one. But all of these are featuring the yarn that we're selling today. There's all the felted tweed shades. Now, Kaffe has also worked with Rowan to choose the colours of these. So this is his choice of colours. So, you know, he has got an amazingly bright, imaginative colour palette. And we're so lucky to be able to give you a kit, so you know, because you know what it's like when you want to buy one of these. You've got all the colours, except they haven't got one ball of one of them. So I've made sure that what we've got, so we can give you exactly the colours you need. And then all the charts, all the patterns, everything you need is in here. So if you want to buy the book all on its own, you can. It's £12, and it's a beautiful book. It's a really nice bound book with all the patterns and the photographs. But if you want the bundle with all the yarn that you need to make this blanket that Kaffe has selected and worked with Rowan on, because it is his colour palette, and you know, I mean, if you know his fabric, you know what his colours are. But this is beautiful, isn't it? So it's £195.99, but it is available on split pay. So I want to show you the blanket. I'll take all the yarn off it. One moment. 12 balls of fjord. I'm going to show you the blanket. 2 of sulphur. And then 1 each of all of these other colours, including Barbara, which I think is my favourite name. So let's open up the blanket. It's beautiful, isn't it? I mean, it's the sort of thing you see in one of these really posh boutiques, isn't it? For actually more than the cost of this kit. Let me see, what's the finished size of the blanket? I actually can't remember. To find the pattern. What does it say? I'll look and find that for you in a minute, so that you're not waiting. knitting. Finished size. Oh, the blanket is 145 centimetres wide and 154. So 57 by 60.5 inches. So it's a really decent sized blanket. It's really a lovely throw. You could put it on the end of the bed. You could drape it around yourself on a picnic. But look at the back of it as well. I mean, it's beautiful on the back. Because it's Intarsia, it's, you know, you're not carrying yarn across, it's one at a time. It's still really, really neat on the back. And because of the type of yarn this is, it all sticks together. Strange. So 195.99. Now, if you want to buy this on split pay, you can split it over 2 months. We don't charge you any interest. It just means you get it split exactly in half. But we will send it to you straight away. You don't have to wait till you've paid the second payment. So the way this works, if you can buy it all in one go, but if you want the split pay option, you pay £65.33 today and the kit is sent to you. And then in a month's time, the other £65.33 will be taken out. And hopefully by the time the 2 months is finished, you finish the blanket. But it is absolutely beautiful. Oh, this one is over 3 months. Right, be very careful. There are lots of these in baskets, more than we've actually got. So if you want them, you do need to check out. So this would be, split over 3 months, £65.33. But, you know, it is something that you will love and treasure. Fantastic to give to somebody, but probably not one that you would want to. So our second make is the sampler scarf, which I'm going to take off so I can show you on the table. I know we've got a picture of it. Now, we're limited on stock of these. This is beautiful. What's amazing is I need to show you how long this is. It's just gorgeous. I mean, it's a statement piece, isn't it? It's just beautiful. I mean, it's got all those colours. I mean, it is, if you think of Kaffe and his, well, if you know fabric more than his knitting, these are his colours and his design. So it's got flowers and houses and then geometric and chevrons and, you know, leaves and flowers. So as you're knitting it, it's become more and more interesting. Isn't it lovely? Shall I just keep moving? I mean, that's very Kaffe, isn't it? All of the sort of the concentric lines. And then you've got more flowers, houses. I mean, it's just lovely. And what I love is the fact that it is double-sided. So it's sewn as one piece, then it's joined and then opened, then flattened out so that it is double-sided and it matches beautifully. So if you want to buy the kit for this, it's £138.99. But you do remember you get the book, the pattern book, and you get all the yarn as well. And this is it. It looks lovely, doesn't it? Look at those colours. Absolutely stunning. Again, you know, they're the Rowan yarns. They're the same ones that were in the blanket, chosen by Kaffe. They're his colours, they're his palette. You can tell, can't you? Again, all with lovely names, which they put the sticker over. So I can't remember what they all are. I like the orange. What's the orange one called?
Zinnia, I think.
Zinnia,
yeah,
is it?
Zinnia.
Oh, have you got all the colours there?
Mm-hmm.
I've written all of these colours down and I can't remember which is which. Amethyst,
that's Barbara, I think,
Seafarer. Which one's Barbara?
I think that's this bright pink.
Is this Barbara? This one's Barbara.
Yes.
Reid is the red. But they're beautiful, aren't they? And together they make this. So this is the pattern book. Now, the pattern book is in the bundle, obviously, so it's a kit. It is a full kit because you get it, the pattern book and all the yarn. So this book, the Winter Vintage book, is available on its own as well. I mean, look, you can see how stunning it is with that lady wearing it. Doesn't it look gorgeous? It's just an absolute statement piece. I would love to own this. And then in the book are lots and lots of other patterns. You've got jumpers, scarf, love the black and white scarf. Oh, look, aren't these nice? The shaded diamond jumper, that's beautiful. I mean, this is real quality. This is why I wanted to bring Rowan to you. Just looking at the photography in it. You know, knitting and crochet are for all tastes and all levels, and you know, it's important at Yarn Lane that we can bring to you all different levels. So I wanted you to bring you Rowan. You know, this is what we think of as real quality yarn and patterns and knitting. It really, you know, most people will know of Rowan, and so it's lovely to be able to bring it to you. All the charts, all the instructions, everything you need to know, all in the book. So that comes with that, but you can buy the Winter Vintage book on its own as well. Okay, there we go, off the desk. Okay, so we're going to go through the scarf first. We do have 2 more kits, but I want to go through how the scarf works. So thank you so much for joining us today. There's been various times I've waited to do this. First of all, I needed to get all the yarn in to make sure it was here. And then I need to make sure that you could demo it, because I needed someone who can really explain how this works.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So tell me about your relationship with Rowan.
Oh, well, I actually work as a technical editor for Rowan, which means I get to check all the patterns. Well, not all of them. There are other people. And I actually worked on this collection. So can you imagine, all of this lot arrived at my house for me to check. But of course I had to send them all back.
That's a shame, isn't it?
A real shame.
I was scared when it all arrived at my house.
Yeah.
I might lose it.
But it is absolutely beautiful. And this yarn works so well in both Fair Isle or stranded and Intarsia as well. So it's just gorgeous.
And why
Absolutely
is that then?
Gorgeous. Well, it's the texture of it, as you say, because it's quite sticky, I suppose, as people call it. It's a tweedy type yarn, so it grabs onto itself, which means that you don't get holes between your stitches. You know, like you maybe would do with acrylic. You don't see the yarn through it. It just works so well for colour work. It's absolutely gorgeous. I got a bit carried away with this bit. I was going to just do the first bit at home and then demo the flowers here, but
that's lovely. Oh, that's the bottom.
Yeah, that's near the bottom. The flowers near the bottom. I must have a thing about flowers, because I've also picked the flowers higher up to show you.
It does make a difference though when you do knit with this wool, because I did a Fair Isle tank top from this sort of wool, and it does hold together.
It does, yeah, and it like I say, it means that you can't, if you're ever worried about seeing the other yarns when you're stranding across the back, you won't see that with this yarn.
Oh yes, I can't see the back of this, so
it does. It's sewn together, and I want to use the back as I'm going to be one of those teachers who's going to say the back is as important as the front. Well, on Fair Isle it actually is, because how you drop one yarn and pick up the next one is so important to get a nice flat front. I don't know if you can see with these colours. Or if we could zoom in a little bit, I'm not sure.
Come in a bit closer, Paul.
It's the colours, they're so close, it's quite hard. But I don't know if you can see that all of these, in each of these rows, I've used both Barbara, the pink, and the purple. I think that's bilberry. But in each row, one of the colours, and the background colour is the Barbara, the pink, is always picked up above the other colour, and consequently the contrast colour is picked up below the other colour, and that means you get these straight lines. You shouldn't have things crossing at the back of Fair Isle. You do on Intarsia, but not on Fair Isle. Okay. And that keeps it nice and flat.
So now, the background, the main colour is the one that you have above?
Yes, that's right. And I'm going to show you how to do that easily when you hold your yarns. Let's just look a little bit at the flowers, because that's not quite so straight. And the reason for that is that's actually using 3 colours there. And as soon as you add another colour, it makes it a little bit trickier, but I still don't think that's too bad there. It's fairly tidy, and it lies nice and flat on the front. Okay, but true Fair Isle only ever has 2 colours per row.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so this isn't really Fair Isle, it's just stranded, but the term
but
Fair
real
Isle,
Fair Isle, from the real Fair Isle.
Yeah, only ever has 2 colours
only has
per
2,
row.
Okay.
Yeah,
this is Kate's version of...
Yes, of course. Well, he would expand, wouldn't he, with his beautiful colours. Lovely. So, shall we have a look at another bit that I've started then? I'll show you what I mean about picking up these colours. This is a bit higher up. This is some more flowers.
Oh yeah, let's identify. Oh, was that the thistle? Well, they might not be thistles, but I think they look like thistles.
Yeah, that's those. Yeah, you're right. But before we actually go that much further. I want you to set yourself up for success if you're going to make this, because it is a challenge. It can be quite hard to see it in the book, so this is what I always do. I make a bigger version of a bit of the chart and I colour it in.
Okay.
Because I just find it so much easier. And I also, so that I don't forget which yarn is used for which symbol, I will attach a bit of yarn there as well. So that's what I did first to get myself ready. Now, this is the chart, the bit of the chart that I'm going to do now. I haven't coloured in all the back because the back's all red. So we've got the beginning here in the darker green of the flowers. Then you probably can't see that green, but I've got those leaves filled in there. And that's what I've started here. Again, the colours are quite difficult to pick up, possibly on the camera. But once we get going, you'll see what I mean about how to hold your yarns. So the background colour is the red.
But this must be such a pleasure to make.
Oh, it's lovely. That's why I got carried away and thought, oh, I was going to show
really,
that bit.
It's a bit like, oh, I'll just get to the end of the row, because you have to really think about it and concentrate. It's not that it's horribly difficult.
No, it's a challenge, but it's if you want a challenge, it's a great challenge to do, you know. But I wouldn't sit concentrating on a TV program while you're doing it.
Well, but also you don't have to count so much, because you can follow what you've done before. You can see where the next leaf is, or the next stem.
Yeah, you follow your read your knitting. I've said that
read
before.
Read your knitting,
on here.
which is actually easier than following a chart.
Okay, so here we go. Here's how to do it, so that it picks up nicely on the back.
I think you need to go just a little bit.
You have your main colour on the right, so that's my red here, and your contrast colour on the left. No matter whether you're left or right-handed, it's probably best to just stick with the main on the right and the contrast on the left. Okay, now, again, depending on how you hold your yarns, are you a UK knitter or are you a continental knitter? That will also affect this. So what I'm going to do first is show you how to do it if you're UK and you want to hold both yarns in the right hand. First of all, so my row here starts with 2 red.
Are they 4 mil? What needles are they?
4 mil.
4 mil for that.
Okay.
Just in case you
before we start the row, again, there's something else to set yourself up. You don't twist your yarns at the back. You only ever twist them once at the beginning of a row. So all I'm going to do is take my contrast, twist it around the red and put it back over there, so it's in the right place for picking up. So we start this row with 2 red. And then we have 2 green. Now, if I was just using my right hand, I would drop the red, pick the green up from underneath the red, and work my 2 green. Then I drop my green, pick up my red from over the top, and work my single red. Now, when you're working across there, don't pull too tight. Don't feel that you've got to close up that gap, because what happens is you'll pucker. So just spread those stitches out a little bit before you work your next stitch, and then do that, and then drop it and pick up the green from underneath. Now that's a lot of dropping and picking up, so here's how I work Fair Isle, and I really hope you can try and get it going this way, because it saves you a lot of time. I have the main colour in my right hand, and I have the contrast colour in my left hand.
What never done this. I drop and pick up and drop and pick up.
Yeah, but that means that you're always going to pick it up from the right place, because that's where it is.
Yeah.
And it keeps your tension nicer because you're not having to let go of yarns. So it maybe is worth practice, but if you don't like it...
Yeah, no, it's just I feel like that's my next step.
So 2 red, 2 green. I'm looking at the chart here. 1 red, 1 green. So if it's on my left finger, I just pick it up like that. It's spread across the back, not too tightly. 1 red from the top, because it's already on the top. 2 green from underneath, because it's already underneath. And as long as you keep these stitches here with a you know, a nice even gap, it shouldn't pucker. Now we've got 3 red. 1, 2, 3, 2 green. See, it does it means you don't have to drop your yarns. You need to try it, Rebecca, you do. 1 red, 1 green, 1 red, 2 green, I believe. I might well have gone wrong there, but hey, never mind. Apologies, Kaffe, if I have. And finish with 2 reds. So all the way along there, I haven't had to drop any yarns. The red has gone above and the green has gone below.
Yeah, that's really
and that's
clever.
what keeps everything nice and straight on the back. The back of Fair Isle should always just be straight lines, except when potentially you've got a third colour where you might have a few wavy lines.
And with this scarf, it's not so bad because you won't see the back, but
no, exactly, that is a
neat.
good point. So people also ask, okay, so if you've got a big long stretch in one colour,
yes,
should you trap the other one? Well, yes, you should. Anything over about 5 stitches, I would tend to trap the other stitch. And if we have time and I get up there, I can show you how to do it. But because this is sewn up, you might think, oh, well, maybe it doesn't matter because it's on the back. But long floats also affect your tension. So it's still a good idea, I think, to trap long floats in the back.
And what do you mean by that?
Okay, let's see. Shall I go off pieced and
Yeah,
do
go
my
off
own
pieced.
thing?
Yeah.
Let me get back to a knit row because I want to show you that first.
Just to show us what that means.
I'll just show you a purl row first. So here I'm twisting once at the beginning again. That stays over the left. That stays over the right. I'll do one more purl row and then I'll show you how to trap floats. Now I'm not so good with purl on my left hand. So I'll show you what I do. Okay, so we'll do one more row. I'm just going to do 2 of each because then I don't have to watch the chart. So.
We are extremely limited on the scarf kits. So it is, if you do want it, you will need to put it in your basket and check out. Remember, it's on 2 split payments, £69.49 for a month for the next 2 months, but you will get sent it straight away. But you remember, you get all of the yarn that you need to make the scarf and you get the book as well, which has got lots of other patterns in it as well as that. But if you want the book on its own, it is just £12 just for the book. And I knew that you'd probably like the books as well as the kits, so I've ordered in more of the book than the kits. Because thank goodness I did, because the ones I originally ordered have sold out. But if you want the kit, it is very, very limited. So you do need to put it in your basket and check out. So is the blanket. I love the blanket. I do love that blanket. I don't know.
Okay, so just coming to the end of the purl row now. So I'm just doing simply 2 red, and that is above the green.
You follow the pattern one way and then back the other.
Back the other way.
All right to left.
No, so right to left for right side rows, and left to right for wrong side rows. So you're still holding your red above the green. That never changes. Now you're picking up the green under the red, and as I say, I'm not so good on the purl with my left hand, but I sort of get by. And then I'll finish with a red. Now I'm making this all up now, so I don't need the chart anymore.
Off-pieced.
Going off-pieced. So one more twist at the end. Put that back over there, and then you won't get all your yarns tangled. Do you know, I once saw somebody describe on YouTube, well, you're going to get your yarn tangled. It's inevitable. And I'm thinking, it isn't. Not if you do it properly. So here we go. I shall do a long red section, I think, and show you how to trap the contrast. So let's say I'm doing 7, so I'll do 2, 3, I'll do 3 first, and then in the middle, in the 4th one, you just put your needle into your stitch as normal, pop your contrast over that X there where the needles cross, make your stitch as normal, and then your green pops off the back, and then the next stitch catches the other half of the green. So it's now caught in there. You've trapped that green,
but without it showing through or being a stitch.
But without it showing or being a stitch, yeah. Okay, so I'll show you that again in a bit. Let's do, so I've done 5, I'll do another couple of reds. And then I'll do a couple of greens. And let's do another long float. So 1. Doesn't matter quite where you trap it in the float, but if you've trapped it in a particular place on one row, try and do it at least one stitch further along on the next row.
Okay, so about how many would you not go beyond?
I wouldn't go beyond 5. If I
Okay.
had 6 stitches, I'd trap it on maybe the 4th.
Oh, right,
And then
but not beyond 5.
I don't like
Okay.
going beyond 5. Okay, so I'm going to trap this one here now just to show you. So you go in as if to do your normal stitch with your red, but you just pop your green over there across that back needle, make your red stitch, and then the green pops off, you go through as normal, and it's trapped on one side there. Then when you do your next stitch, it traps it on the other side. So the green is being trapped as a float as you go across the back of your work.
Oh, that's really good.
There are other ways of trapping, because on the purl row it can be a bit tricky, but I've got a YouTube thing on it if anybody wants to watch that, so about how to do all your traps. So don't forget, one colour on the right and stay with that colour, and one colour on the left, and you pick that one up from underneath.
Wow.
And the reason you stay with the colour
is now sold out.
Has it really?
Wow.
Goodness.
But it doesn't mean you have to stop if we're still in the middle of something.
No,
you
no,
can't carry
that's
on because
fine.
the book is still available.
Yeah, no, that's fine, because I've just sort of gone a bit off piece there anyway.
No,
so
that's really good. So that's how to do it.
How to pick up your yarns.
Pick up colours, not
how
get twisted.
How to do a bit of floats. Just twist once at the end of the row, but always keep that one on that side, that one on that side, and the same. Because there's a thing called colour dominance, but I won't go into that today. But the contrast colour, the one that goes underneath, shows up more slightly than the other stitches.
Oh, okay.
They're slightly bigger.
So once you become a real expert, you then have to choose.
You do have to choose, yeah.
But that's really nice, isn't it? Because this is something you can learn and grow
Oh,
with,
yeah,
isn't
I
it?
love
You
it.
don't
You know,
have to
I've-
be an expert. I mean, I've
No.
done Fair Isle with knowing nothing. I mean,
Absolutely, you can, no problem
It's
at all.
just lovely following a chart, because you have to think about it. You go 3 greens, 1 red. There's no
Yeah,
sort of knit
yeah.
and stocking stitch for 25 centimetres,
yeah.
which is the worst thing you can ever read, isn't it? None of that. 3 greens and 1 reds. And it's lovely, because even on like an evening, you think, well, I'm just going to do that section.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite, as I say, it's a nice challenge, and you're always thinking, oh, what's coming next, you know, so it's really exciting.
And then the blanket, we have limited stock of now, but this is done in Intarsia.
Yes.
So it's different. So the blanket, it looks like squares, but it's actually got little stripes, so it's like a paintbrush has been pulled over it. Can you see that? All of the wool that you need for the kit and the book is in there. But it looks like one of these like woven blankets, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It's lovely. I think it actually uses a little bit of Fair Isle at the top of each box. Can you see there's a little bit which is like the paint daubs?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
The Fair Isle is across
Yeah, it's a mixture. So
strokes.
most of it is Intarsia. You do often get that, a mixture of both of them in the same pattern.
Yeah,
Especially for Kaffe. He uses that in the
Oh,
scarf
does he?
as well.
A lot. Yeah, so if you don't know, I learned this the other day because I never knew what the difference was. Fair Isle is when you carry the yarn all the way across, and Intarsia is where you work with different balls.
Yes, that's right, different balls of wool.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, which is what the halo has been done with.
Okay. So next we've got the cushion kits. So let's talk about those. Where's the cushion? It's behind you. So is the cushion Fair Isle or Intarsia?
Well, it says Intarsia.
But it might not be.
Well, it is.
So this is a beautiful size. It is, have you got the pattern there?
Yes, I do.
It does say what it is.
56 centimetres.
Yes, it's about a 20-inch cushion. It's not really, really nice big cushion. Look how squishy and big that is. Lovely. So in the kit, you get all the yarn. And what I love is that it's a black and white cushion, but it's not black and white, is it?
No.
It's a black felted colour, and it's a grey felted colour. But amongst these, so you get the black and the white that you need for the boxes, but then you get these beautiful bright colours that fill in the holes in all of them. but out, obviously, you also get the pattern book and the pattern features on the front cover. Let me put it there so you can see it. But it is, I chose this one because it feels very cave to me. This screams, this is what he would do. There's enough wool as well, just to say, for the back. That's why you've got so much of the grey. It's available on split pay, £116.99 for the pattern book with more patterns besides and all the yarn. You can, if you want to buy it on split pay, we'll split it over 2 months of £58.49, but you will get sent it straight away. You haven't got to wait. It's not like, oh, you have to go to wait. So we'll charge you now and the other £58.49 in a month's time, and there is no interest. It is just purely the £116.99 split into 2. Okay. In the book, you can also, if you want to buy the book separately, you can. There are lots of patterns in here. Scarves, cushions, jumpers. But this is the same pattern book that the Paint Daubs blanket is in. There's even a scarf matching the cushion in there. This is gorgeous, isn't it? I could only have one scarf though, very difficult to choose. But hopefully you love Rowan as much as I do. We can have more. We'll just have more. More and more and more. I love that. I love that cushion. It's nice, isn't it? The jaunty cushion. So this is the same pattern book that the Paint Daubs blanket is in. Talks about all the felted tweed and the different shades that there are, so you can see, and what their funny names are. And then all the patterns. But, you know, there's just gorgeous, beautiful things in here. And there's the cushion. So everything you need to know. Okay. The other kit, this is the final kit, is this gorgeous cardigan that I'm wearing. Let me just move these over or I'm going to get really confused. You know I'm going to mix up all these kits, and I've dropped one. I dropped one the other day. It took me ages to find it. The next one is the lovely halo cardigan that I've been wearing all morning. And this comes in this pattern book. So you get all the yarn, which I'm going to get for you now. I just don't want to get them mixed up, otherwise it looks really confusing. So this is all the yarn for the cardigan. So the background of it is, oh, what do you think that colour is? Is it
the Delft? I'm not sure.
Or is it mineral?
It might be. There's a few quite similar.
Oh, duck egg.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Just looking at this, duck egg. So the yarn in this, there's enough yarn to knit up to the 42-inch bust size. Just so you know that. But you get all the yarn that you need. Oh, look, there's loads of it. Loads and loads and loads. It's a bit like paint pot. So you've got a lot of the duck egg, which is all this sort of beautiful background colour. But then these lovely, like paint pot, well, you can see from the main picture, paint pots. So they do look like paint pot. But this is called Halo Spots. But you know, they are Cave's gorgeous colours. And what I love about this cardigan is it's really easy to wear. It doesn't have any fastenings. It's just there. You can just wear it on top of anything, and it's just warm and comfortable, and it's just nice. It has got little sleeves. It's not just sleeveless, but it's just lovely. But what a statement piece, you know, if you imagine knitting this and what everyone would say, like, oh my God, where did you buy that, is what people would say, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would.
And you go, oh, this little boutique that I know of. I know of. And it would cost you about £300, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So it's available, the kit, which is all of the yarn, and the pattern book, which has many other patterns in. £144.99. If you want to buy it on split pay, you can pay £72.49 today, £72.49 in a month's time, but you will get sent it straight away. If you want the pattern book on its own, that is also available. Right. This one is called Colours, so this is the only time we've shown you this one. It's got cushions, jumpers, wraps. Love that checkerboard throw. Look at that scarf, circling a square. There's the Halo Spots cardigan. It's lovely, isn't it? I love the back of it the best. You don't get to see it from the front as much, but it is beautiful. So again, interesting to knit as well, which is a really important part of knitting. Only knitters would get that, but it's very important that it's interesting to knit. Look, isn't it lovely? But it is, it's a beautiful pattern book. I love the checkerboard blanket. It is, it's lovely. I mean, it's, you know, I think they spend a lot of time and money on their pattern books. because they are always beautiful. So there's that one. So Cal, what are you going to show us now?
I'm going to show you one of the circles from the halo.
Okay. They're very neat on the inside, aren't they?
Yes, yes, very good. Well done, that knitter.
Well done, that knitter.
Okay, so each of the circles are basically the same shape. So I've extended the picture. It's not all that clear, but I've drawn some squares around here. So what I'm going to do, my outside bit is going to be in this blue, and there's an edge around each of the circles. You can see that quite clearly on Rebecca's cardi that she's wearing. And I'm going to do that one in green, and then the middle bit I'm going to do in the zinnia, the orange. Okay, so I've just picked those colours at random, to be honest. Now, to do Intarsia, complete opposite to Fair Isle, you're not stranding any yarns across, and this whole cardigan is worked in Intarsia. Now, because of that, you need to be aware of a few things. First of all, you're working merrily away with your blue on the bottom, but then when you get to here, you've got to introduce your green, which is fine. You can introduce your green, but then you need a second ball of blue to do this side here. So you're going to need 2 balls of blue to start with. Then, as you come further up here and you're doing your greens, you're going to need 2 greens as well to go up either side. So you do need to do a little bit of planning ahead to make sure you've got everything ready before you go, because you don't want to get part way through and think, oh, I've got to break that yarn now because I need another ball.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can either wind off a bit of yarn beforehand and you could put it on a plastic bobbin, or you could just leave a long length, or you can make your own little bobbins here. I think I'll show you how to do that today because it's quite easy. So this is a little bobbin of blue, and every time I pull that, just a bit more comes out until I've finished.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah. You do have to be a little bit careful with this yarn because it's sticky. So I'll show you how to, because I'm going to need 2 greens and I've only got 1 green, so I'll show you how to do a little bobbin. But again, quite often I will just have a long length rather than put it on a bobbin. I'll just leave a long length hanging on the back. So here we go. So grab it over the top of your top 2 fingers there in your hand and start a figure of 8 movement. And keep going till you've got however much you think you might need. I'll just do a small one today. And when you think you've got enough, just break off. I'll just break off about there. So here's my figure of 8.
I guess after a while you'll get better at knowing how much you need.
Yes,
once you've
you
done
will,
several
yeah.
paint pots.
You can always join in another colour anyway,
Right.
because of this yarn, it's quite sticky. You wouldn't even notice a join probably.
No.
So with that end that you've just pulled off, wrap it around the centre, through the middle there, a few times. And be careful because this yarn can break. So wrap it around a few times. And then on the last time round, just loosen that and tuck it through to knot it. So the bit around the centre is knotted. This bit is the bit that you pull, when you take this off, and pull that. That is your...
And that just, so that unravels.
And that just opens up.
So that's pulling out the figure of 8, and it's the other one that's, fantastic.
Yeah,
that's a really good idea.
I do prefer that to bobbins because I get cross because bobbins catch on things, so that's what I do. So let's start this side then. So I've got my main blue, another blue, I've got 2 greens, I'm all ready for that, and I only need 1 orange because there's one big section in the middle. So I started off, I did the first 2 rows which are just plain blue. And then counting across, I've now got to do 15 blue and then start my green. So let's do that. I happen to be using a circular needle because I'd run out of needles because I'd use them for everything else. So.
Let me just check the... So for this you need 3 1/4 mil and 3 3/4 mils.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the first 15 blue. Now I've got to join in a green. I'll join my main one in. Now how you join in is, There are a number of ways, obviously, of joining in, but this is how I tend to do it. I've got to do 5 greens, so I would put my needle in first, ready to go. And I tend to just wrap my green around the blue and hold it there. Try to bring it as close to the needle as I can. There we go. And now I work my 5 greens. You don't carry the blue, remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have to join in my second blue, so that I'm joining in from my bobbin. And I work to the end in the blue. But before I work to the end in the blue, what I'd like you to have a look at, if you can, is you see the green here finishes there, but on the next row, when you're coming back on the wrong side, you need it 2 stitches earlier.
Yes.
So I would prepare that now.
Oh, and travel it.
I'd take it along
Whatever
with
it's
me.
called.
If you don't do that, don't worry, it's not the end of the world, but I just like to do it myself because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So 1, 2 in my new blue, and then I am just going to wrap that blue around that green so that it's caught there, ready for the next row, because that's where I'm going to need it.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Does that give you a neater finish?
I think it does, yeah, because if you leave it where it was, the green on the next row is going to pull slightly in the wrong direction.
Okay.
Well, in a direction.
But the book does actually, there is a whole information section about how to do all of this, which is quite nice, isn't it? With all of the abbreviations and what is Fair Isle and what's Intarsia and how to do it. So.
Yeah, it does include quite a lot of detail. Pull a bit more blue out. So I'll just do another row back and show you how to join in. Well, we haven't got to join in another one yet. We've got to do a longer section of green. So now this is where, again, I would read my knitting. I know I've got to stop 2 before the end of the blues and change to green. So I wouldn't look at the chart now. I just look at my knitting. And when I get to 2 stitches before the blue, I know I've got to pick the green up. But I also know it because I've got that green ready from the last row.
So Christine's asked if we're going to get many more in stock. What, the sampler scarf? Yes, yes. Now that I know that you like them, I hoped you did. Caroline, I hoped you liked them as much as we did.
Yeah.
And you do, good.
Oh, I hope so. Okay, now here's another important thing. When you're swapping colours, you do twist in Intarsia. In Intarsia, I nearly said the wrong word there. So you do have to take the blue around the green and then pick up the green. Otherwise you'll get a hole.
Yeah, so because you're not travelling, you there have to cross them over.
You do, yeah, because otherwise they won't join, you know, because you're dropping one, picking another if you don't twist them.
But the stickiness of the wool, it's not sticky, I don't know, fibrousness, should you say?
Maybe, yeah. I think knitting people call it sticky.
Well, they do, yeah.
Now, I'm at the other end of that first bit of blue. I've got to do green. I've got to do 2 more greens, which is this little bit here. And now I've got to change back to blue. But again, I need the green 2 further along, so I'm going to do the same thing. So first of all, I'm going to twist the green and the blues together. I'm going to do 2 blues. And then I'm going to take the green again around the blue. So you do have more ends to deal with, and you might begin to see why I sometimes just have long threads hanging, because it's easier then to just thread them through. Oops.
Right, Linda's messaged in, hi, for the blanket and cardigan, do you use circular needles, and what is the maximum number of stitches on the needle? Right, okay, so for the cardigan, it says to have 3 1/4 and 3 3/4 and 3 1/4 circular.
Yeah.
I think it's up to you whether you have a circular or not.
That circular will probably be for the
the
band
all the way
around
round
the front, yes.
Okay. And the maximum number on the needle, well, it depends what size you're doing. If you're doing up to a 42, then that'd be 197 stitches is the maximum. Ooh, no, you go up to 220 there. Okay, and then the blanket, that's this one. A pair of 4mm needles. Yeah, it doesn't mention circular at all. Then you have 319 stitches. Gosh, that's quite a lot, isn't it? For it not to be circular.
Mm. You might prefer to use a circular.
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, it does say a pair of 4mm needles. It doesn't mention circular, so I guess that's up to you. But it is 319 stitches.
Yeah.
So I presume this is double knit yarn.
Yes, but I think it's a slightly thin version of double knit.
Okay.
Slightly, but
It's only yeah. It doesn't. Well, it's just the 4mm needles.
see the halo from it, or the extra
Yes,
yarns
because
will
it
make
looks
it thicker.
thinner than your normal double
yes,
knit.
but the sort of halo
Okay.
effect will make it a double knit. Now I'm just going to come on to join in the third colour. Shall we have a look at that?
Yes.
Okay, so I've just got up to my
So that's the rim of your paint pot, or what? They're not
Yeah.
paint pots.
whatever they are.
The halos. The halo.
Yeah, so I'm just coming up here now. So 2 before the last green started, I'm going to do 4 greens. So here we are, my yarn's ready because I put it there at the end of the last row. But as I say, don't worry if you don't do that. You can, this is all a learning experience anyway. I twisted it round the blue. Now I'm going to join in my orange.
Orange. You see, this I've worked
Zinnia.
out. They've put the stickers on top of all the colours. So this one is called... Oh, no, it doesn't actually.
I don't think they have the names on.
No, you have to know. Luckily, you'll be fine because the code number is on here.
Yeah.
And the name, because they've got names. So the orange, they've got numbers and names, and both are on here. So you will be able to identify them when you get yours.
Okay, so I've now done my 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I need 5 oranges. And now you can see that green's left over there. I've got to start using my second green now for the other half of the halo circle.
No, this is zinnia. Is the orange.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you go back. So you're doing you're working across and doing the other side of the halo.
4
paint
green.
pot.
I've done 5 orange. Now I'm doing 4 green again for the other side. Yes, but that is a separate piece of yarn. And I'm going to join it onto the blue.
Now, so we've only got about 4 minutes left.
Okay,
How did that happen?
Fine.
But that's fine because we can just do it again. We can bring the Yeah, so in the cardigan deal, you get all the yarn and the pattern book, but the yarn, because you need more balls for the largest sizes, there's enough yarn to make up to the 42-inch bust. So, yeah, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6. So it is up to the 42-inch bust, and then there's all of the colours and the pattern book is in the kit. But quite a lot.
There we are. So there's the start.
There's
of
18
your
balls, 50-gram balls of the yarn. So, I mean, you do get a lot of yarn.
Yes. Well,
let
you
me
will
see.
have a lot of ends as well.
A lot of ends.
You will have a lot of ends because in Intarsia you're having a separate piece of yarn for each section.
So you just keep going.
So on the back, just pull that start together. When you've finished, you weave in your ends and it should look like it does on the back of your cardigan where you just see the yarn.
Yes. I mean,
around
actually,
the
if we
edges.
look at the...
Yeah, it's not carried across. So that's Intarsia.
Can we see the back? Yeah. See, look at the back.
Yeah.
You can see, which is fine, isn't it, that that's on the inside of your cardigan because it's neat.
Yeah, it is neat. And it gives you just one thickness. The thing about using Fair Isle is it's thicker because of all the yarn that you're carrying.
Yes, I guess it
across
could
the
have
back.
been done in Fair
It could have
Isle.
been, but your texture would change.
And this is a very sort of just floaty, not floaty because it's wool, isn't it? But
I don't think that would have worked so well if you do the circles in Fair Isle.
it'd be quite stiff, wouldn't it?
And that's why when you mentioned that cushion, I was a bit surprised. It is done in Fair Isle, even though there's lots of little bits. So each of those black and white things is a separate yarn. It's a separate thread of yarn.
Oh wow! So it
lots.
is Intarsia then.
Yeah.
I really love this.
But
I like it because
really
it's so
well.
big.
Yeah.
But it's just what you think of Kaffe, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's him all over.
It is all those colours, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
I'm quite impressed that he's worked with Rowan on choosing these colours as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is, I mean, when you look at his fabric, I think people, well, I think of him as being a knitter.
Yes,
That's how
I do too, but that's because I've known about him for years.
For a long time. For a long time.
Very long time.
Well,
yeah.
I'd read this story that he went up to, is it the Shetland Islands, to visit some knitters and then learnt to knit on the train on the way home. But he got lots of yarn and patterns, and on the train on the way home someone taught him to knit.
Oh.
And then that's how he started. And then that's moved into the needlepoint, hasn't
Yes,
it? But
yeah.
thank you so much, Carol. That has just
Oh,
been
you're welcome. It's
lovely. We will
lovely.
do it all over again. We'll
Oh,
get
yes.
the sampler scarf
Yes,
back
please.
in and some more, because we love it. We love
Yeah.
it. So I'm glad you love it too. Thank you so much for joining me. So the sampler kit is sold out. The other three are extremely limited. So just have a look on the website. Gives you all the details. I've written on there what you get in the kit, what it all involves, the sizes and everything, the numbers. And remember, all of the kits are available on split pay, which is interest free. So you will be charged over either 2 or 3 months, depending on what kit you buy. And I know it is a considered purchase, but this is quality. And it will take you a long time, and you'd think about the number of hours. It's much cheaper than playing golf. So I'm just going to quickly go through the book. So all of the kits, remember, they're kits, not yarn packs. You get the pattern and all the yarn, but the books are also available separately. So the colours book, which is the one that the cardigan's in, this is £12. I mean, it is a beautiful kit, beautiful book. So, I mean, obviously, if you knit it in the felted tweed, you will get a similar result, but it is a similar weight to a double knit. So you could, buy the book and knit it in other yarn. Doesn't have to be knitted in this yarn. There's a lovely scarf. I love this cool weave. I mean, it is just owning your very own piece of Kaffe. Look at the Lady of the Lake jumper. It's gorgeous, isn't it? I love the checkerboard blanket. It's like a massive wrap sort of throw blanket. It's beautiful. Isn't that lovely? If you owned a rocking horse to put it on. And that's it's a throw, 30 by 100 inches. That's really lovely. So that's everything you need to know. Remember, in all of the books, there is an information page that gives you all of the abbreviations and tells you lots of tips, things that Carol's been talking to you today. But remember, if you buy the book or any of the kits, write down the date of today, because you really need to go back and watch Carol's demo, because she's explained beautifully how we do travel yarn, how we do Fair Isle, how we do Intarsia. It's fantastic. So second book, Felted Tweed, that features the paint daubs cushion and the black and white cushion. Again, £12, lots and lots of patterns in there. And the final book is the Winter Vintage, the one that's got the scarf on the front, and again features a mixture of different charts and patterns. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's been lovely. Yarn Lane is back on Wednesday. We've got Sam from Adventures in Crafting back, second in her series of seasonal wreaths. It's the spring wreath, and she'll be bringing back the winter ones too. It's crochet. So I hope you enjoy that, and thank you for joining us today. And I'm glad you love Rowan as much as Carol and I do. Bye-bye.